Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Verdict's In. I'm your host, Nicole.
I'm Gary.
And today we're talking about American sports story, Aaron Hernandez, Season 1, Episode 4, entitled Birthday Money. It was written by Ryan Farley, Chelsea Laura, and Mr. Zickerman, who all worked on previous episodes. And it was directed by Carl Franklin, who also directed another episode, I believe, Episode 3.
Okay.
All right, Gary, we watched the episode twice now. What are your overall thoughts of the episode?
This was a pretty good episode with a lot of information. Going into, well, right now, I realize that we're just podcasting on a show. Because the more I look and try to see what's accurate and what's not, there's more things that can't be confirmed than the things that can. It's like I looked up like, okay, is this real? Is this real?
Right.
And it's more things that didn't. So basically, this show is just for entertainment because a lot of this stuff can't be proven or whatever if it's real or not. We know that it's real where he got drafted at. They know it's real maybe what he scored on the test or whatever. But a lot of things, even going back to the uncle, I tried to look that up. Like, did the brother say anything about the uncle doing that, or is this just speculation or whatever, or just something to put in the show, which a lot of things is these days. So these days it's just like content over anything.
Right.
Like there's no which I read an article where someone said that hey, they weren't even interviewed for the show. So
yep.
So their information was not even accurate on here. So, but besides that, just going over the show completely, I think this was a good episode.
I agree. I think it was a good episode. And although I started off saying, hey, we're only talking about the show, and we're only talking about the show, I can't help but Google something
right.
when we're like, wait, that happened, and when you bring up the uncle, which is that first scene, afterwards I had to look it up, and they were like, the uncle was never charged. He died in 2013. 2 family members died in car crashes. I don't think they were implying that he had anything to do with it, but they died in 2013 car crashes, but there was never exposing himself to children, as they mentioned in the show.
Right.
And then they kind of implied in the show that the uncle also abused Aaron Hernandez. Not still saying that none of this didn't happen, but the uncle was never charged with even exposing himself to children.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that none of this has happened, but none of this could be proven.
Yes, and I think I'm okay with we did, American Crime, the Aaron O.J. Simpson case, and we knew that there was still some stuff that was exaggerated or just for entertainment purposes.
Right.
But when it's something as serious as sexual assault or pedophile, I don't think you should just put that in for entertainment. And it does seem like, yes, they said Aaron Hernandez, his lawyers say, his brother says he was sexually abused as a child. They would not confirm who, which I'll never understand why protect the predators.
The abuser, yeah.
But at the same time, if you were going to put something in the show, regardless that the uncle is dead now, put something in the show as serious as child abuse, you better make sure it's right. That shouldn't be... They shouldn't have used Uncle Bobby's name if they don't have proof it was Uncle Bobby.
Right. And then going back to the OJ, but most of the things in OJ was more factual.
Yes.
So OJ series was more factual than entertainment. Yes, there was a lot of entertainment put in there, but they had a lot of facts.
Yes.
Where it's on the other, totally other end, that this is mostly entertainment and they're bringing in some facts.
Yeah. And then I saw some criticism from Ryan Murphy as well, just because they're saying he didn't do a lot of research, or as you mentioned, he didn't either interview certain people that's still alive. He didn't even reach out to them, never said, hey, is this what happened? And if you're going to, you can do it for entertainment, but when you're using real lives, I would try to have as much as possible that's confirmed, or at least, hey, even if, there's no physical proof, DJ told us this. We interviewed his brother. His brother told us this. We interviewed his mom. This is what she told us. And we're going to go off good faith on that. But it doesn't seem like any of this research was done.
Right. No legwork was done.
It almost kind of made me say, Gary, I don't even know if I want to finish this show. I honestly did. I was like, yo. I know it's supposed to be entertainment, but if you're talking about someone's real life and you're using real names here, you got to put a little bit more work into it.
Right, and these people have like real families that's still
yes,
here.
That's still here.
He has a real wife, real kids.
Right.
There's people still here, and this is what you want to put out there with no research whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, I agree.
But going back to the show, this was a good episode.
A good episode, yeah. I mean, especially the ending was so sweet, seeing him get drafted. All right, so it starts off, we're in 1996. They're in Bristol, Connecticut. Uncle Bobby comes out of the room with the young Aaron sitting there on the bed. DJ comes right at the same time, and he goes, hey, I was leaving him his birthday money, giving him his birthday money. And I'm talking about this scene now, so we're just only talking about from the show, but I just thought that is so sick. Like, not only are you molesting your nephew, you're doing it, like, on his birthday? Like, on his act, like, that was sick.
Sick. That's sick. Well, it's sick.
Not saying, if it's not his birthday, it's a better day to do it.
No, it's sick regardless.
Yeah, sick regardless.
Sick regardless, but just knowing that it's his birthday and this is what you chose to, well, just know this is what you chose to do, period. Mm-hmm. I don't care what day of the week it is. I don't care if it's what holiday it is. Just a regular date. This is some sick stuff.
Yeah. And then it skips to the present day, and Aaron is getting wined and dined. I was like, yo, must be the life. Everyone's treating him out to expensive meals, nice pools, just a good time. And his brother is, you can see there's some jealousy on there, and we'll get to it. And he does make points later, like, damn, I did everything right, and I didn't have the talent, and he has the talent, and he's throwing it away. And we see that in everyday life, where you, like, with the Diddy thing and people that are so successful, it's like, you made it and you still fucked up. Like, where, you know how many people want to be in your shoes and have that opportunity?
Well, I think the Diddy situation is different, because one of them is, you made it and this is what you chose to do. And with I think the Diddy situation, allegedly, this is what you did to make it.
Oh, yeah.
So one of them is what you did to make it,
and one of them is what you did, like, after you made it.
It's just immaturity. You made it, and you're still doing this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we meet a Mr. Murphy. He comes to Aaron's house, and he's, like, trying to, talk to him. But Aaron kind of cuts him off right away and goes, I've already made my choice. But once he sort of starts talking, this guy is played by Thomas Sadowski. If you know him, if you watched Newsroom, that was on HBO. I mean, I just know him from Newsroom. I'm pretty sure he's been other things, but he played Don on Newsroom. Such a good actor, so I was happy to see his face this week. But he does talk a good game. He goes, hey, well, starts asking a little question, like, no big deal, like, no problem whatsoever.
And B starts selling them.
But then starts selling, like, but, out of curiosity, where do they think you're going to get drafted? What, but they talk to you about, your interviewing. They talk to you about, preparing for this. All this stuff that has sort of not to do with football, that's off the field, and making sure, hey, your background is okay, your past trouble is okay. They've interviewed about all that. And once he kind of start talking that good game, and telling him, like, your stock can drop based off your off the field activities. And what I would do if you hired me is I would make sure we control the narrative. Talk about your past as if that was just a young, immature boy, and now you're a grown man. You've learned from those mistakes. And he talked a good game, and his mom was like, yo, can DJ go with him? The mom is so negative every time she's on screen, because she's like, since he can't think for himself, or whatever she said, he needs help. He's too young to do it on his own. Can DJ go with him? And Aaron goes, yeah. I mean, Murphy says, yeah, it's up for Aaron. And Aaron goes, yeah, I'll do it. And DJ seems very happy to, go with his brother on this adventure. Yeah. What do you think of Murphy?
One thing about Murphy, well, let's go back to the family.
Uh-huh. There
should have been more representation there for Aaron Hernandez. He should have had a football coach with him, maybe his coach.
Yeah.
Some kind of representation besides his mother, who just happy if he get $1.
Right.
Because in this scene, after he said, hey, we take care of this, we do this, we set up the maid, house cleaner.
Does it include one for moms?
And yeah, the mother said, yeah, does it include one for moms? So you see where her head is at right now. Right now, Aaron's her meal ticket.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the reason his brother want this guy is because this guy knew his father or something. Like, maybe he was a friend of the father, or the father recommended him before.
Spoke highly of him. And
I realized his father spoke highly of him because this guy's from Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
So his father probably knew him from the area or whatever.
Local, like, hey, he's one of us. He's local. We know him too. You
Right.
know?
So he's from Bristol, but he's in like Laguna now. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like his brother was like, no, this is the guy. This is the guy. This is the guy. What I think personally in this situation, he should have had better representation. They're sitting down with him, and once he told the guy, hey, I got somebody, whatever. Conversation should have ended. The selling should have stopped, and I guarantee you, if he had better people around him, the selling would have stopped instantly, and Aaron would have had time to really think about it and do his research. Because to me, Aaron, and I understand what the guy said. There's trouble off the field. They're going to be looking at this. They're going to be looking at this. I looked up the agent and his rating, and I don't even think this agent. I think Aaron could have did better. Okay. I think the agent, for the ratings, he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's rates in the 20 on most lists, but Aaron should have did like a top 10 or top, someone higher, somebody for Aaron's athletic capability. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes it's not what you know, is who you know, and these higher agents will have like. The agent that represented Tebow. You have somebody that has Tebow with him. You have somebody that has another high player with him, another player, and has better relationship with these coaches. And in one scene we seen, and this is going ahead, we see him talking to a recruiter from a team, and the recruiter say, yeah, there's 31 other teams. We're not going to do it. We like, even the people you have a relationship with, you don't really have a relationship with, that say, hey, yeah, I need a tight end. You're the guy for, me and you, we have a good relationship. Are you sure about this guy? Boom, boom, boom. I think Aaron should have just had more people sitting down with him, and people without other agendas sitting down with him when he looked for an agent.
I agree. They definitely should have had more professional people there with him helping make those decisions. And I also agree that you never make a decision right there on the spot, even if it sounds super great. Stop, take a night over, think it over, take a few hours, think it over. Like, hey, thank you for that perspective. I appreciate it. Give us a few hours and we'll give you a call. Something like that. Yet at the same time, I can't really say that I think Aaron could have got better. I mean, the other coach the other guy that he was talking to that said, hey, there's 31 other teams, that shows you the mindset that Aaron was at. It's to me, the agent is not the reason why Aaron was drafted so far out. Because he was a good player. Even the Patriots said, hey, he's the best player on here. His off the field antics is what tore him from going first round to wherever he went, in my opinion, I feel.
Yeah, I disagree with that completely. I understand what you're saying, but I understand there's a lot of players that did a lot worse than what Aaron did and got drafted a first round draft pick. So off the field, yeah, that's a big thing. Can you control the person? That's a big thing. But relationships is even bigger. And if you get with a top agency, yeah, they make it do a lot for you, or a lot more for you than these other agencies.
All right. Well, we get to Laguna Hills. He starts training. Aaron does get stretched out by their team's physical therapist, or that organization's physical therapist. There is some sexual tension there that we'll later see play out. Right. And that was actually another thing I read. Not that it matters, because they were only talking about the show, but they're like, there's no evidence or proof that he had an affair or a relationship with the staff from that organization, because that organization was a real organization. Once again, you're putting their reputation on the line by saying, yeah, we're not professional. We're going to be screwing the players. And not even about gay or heterosexual. Like, that's unprofessional for the athletic staffing, whatever it's the physical therapist or the coach, to be having relationships with the players. That's going to blur lines. So I get that as well. If there was no proof of that and they just decided to make it up.
Entertaining for the show.
Yeah. And I will also say this, maybe it's because it's a Ryan Murphy show. I kind of think Ryan Murphy, I believe, is homosexual. And I don't know if it's just his experience or whatever, and that because all his shows have a strong, not all, but a lot of his shows have a strong theme of some homosexuality. A lot of them do. And it makes me think also of Tyler Perry in his shows, there's a lot of trauma in a lot of his movies and stuff like that. And I just wonder if sometimes these people, these directors, producers, everybody, whatever, they're putting a lot of more of their personal experiences into
feelings
into their work, which is a perfectly valid. It's perfectly fine. Any artist does. But to me, it sometimes strays the line when it's like when you're talking about something real, such as a real story as this, or when it's only going back to Tyler Perry, where that's every movie. It's a trauma. So I don't know. I kind of thought of him and Tyler Perry in this instance.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I think it is good that you use your personal feelings and personal situations in the things you do. Mm-hmm. But you're right. This is supposed to be based on a real person, and I can understand when you do it when it's based on just a show. This is just a sci-fi or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not reality. This is not a real show, or it's not based on actual people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need to put as much emotion, as much as you in it as possible. But when you're talking about a actual person, like you said, I said you need to do a little more research. Everything you look up on this shouldn't say we can't prove.
Yeah, it can't be proven. It can't be proven.
Hold on.
Damn, the only thing that can be proven is that Aaron played for the Patriots.
We know what college he went to. His name was Aaron Hernandez.
That's a fact. His name was Aaron Hernandez. Okay, we can confirm that.
We can confirm the situation because he got locked up for the situation. We can confirm his ending, but everything in between it, we just gotta put it together.
Yep.
But this scene was needed to bridge into other things later.
Yeah.
So the scene was needed because it showed that Aaron, when he saw the guy, Aaron has gaydar. Yeah. Aaron could tell who's gay, who's not, but you could tell that Aaron was feeling this guy from the get-go. He joked around with him, the way he looked at him.
They immediately had a rapport because that physical therapist, Chris, was from Bristol, or no, he was from Hartford or somewhere like nearby.
Nearby, yeah.
So they kind of was able to relate and kind of, come to an understanding of that and joke. And, he was very casual and very cool with them. So it was just the beginning of it, like, hey, we're friends, we'll be friends, we'll be colleagues, we'll get along fine. But yeah, you could see definitely like the little smirk on Aaron's face, like, I'm gonna like it here type of thing.
Yeah.
All right, so we see DJ talks to Murphy. He asks, like, hey, if there's a team looking for a practice squad QB, like, he's still trying to get in there. He's kind of excited. He's back in there, and he's like, damn, this could have been my life. I was so close to this, yet so far, I feel like I still got it. Like, maybe I can be on the practice squad and eventually move my way up. And that's when Murphy's like, yeah, okay, I can look into it. He's like, but let me ask you for something. He's like, is Aaron a big weed smoker? Rumors are going around that he's failed multiple tests when he was in Florida. And DJ tries to protect it, but he's like, nah, it's all good. Like, yeah, he might have did some stuff. That was when he was in college. Like, he's grown, he's matured since then.
Yeah. This part right here is very unprofessional of the agent, but I understand he has a job to do. But you didn't know this information when you went after him?
Right.
You knew that, according to you knew that he wasn't going to go in the first round. Right. But you telling me you didn't know why?
Right, yeah, because DJ was like, Aaron. He's like, no, I don't know Aaron, so why don't you tell me? Well, then you didn't do enough research.
Yeah, you didn't do enough research. You was the wrong guy for the job.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
And that's what I was saying at the beginning. Like, this guy just sold it. He sold Aaron. Mm-hmm. Aaron got lucky when he went with this guy. Lucky that the Patriots wanted him and he got to stay home. Like, that was like pure luck. Mm-hmm. But I think Aaron could have did better.
Yeah. Well, Murphy is coaching him on being coachable, and they're asking him tough questions. It's kind of like when you practice like on the lawyer shows, when you see them practice when they're going to be on stand. I'm like, did you kill her? No. Like, no, you need to be able to answer calmly. And that's what they're doing here. And they're pretty much teaching Aaron to control his anger. Like, they're going to ask you some crazy shit and keep your anger. That's for the field. Go tackle somebody or whatever. But keep that anger when they're asking you whatever crazy questions they're asking to see how you're going to answer. Keep your cool.
Right.
And then we get another conversation with Murphy and GJ, this time on the field. He tries to be casual with it. He's like, hey, did your mom got arrested, or did your mom get arrested or go to jail? He's like, nah, she got arrested, but the charges were dropped. It was not that big a deal. And then he starts walking away. He goes, oh, but what about your guy's uncle Bobby? Like, he was accused of, exposing himself to kids. He went to jail. And DJ's like, yeah, we weren't that close with him. Like, but you could tell DJ's uncomfortable with this line of questioning. And it might be because it's just his family, or because he does know more, or because maybe there is something there. So maybe that's why the show felt comfortable enough to have that scene and imply it, because it's been implicated but not actually said.
Well, I think DJ felt uncomfortable saying it because you don't want to. I mean, that's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. That's an uncomfortable question. I mean, you know what this guy is linked to.
Right.
If he's linked to exposing of the kids, I mean, that's a family member. Like a family member I have that may have stole something.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about them now.
Right.
Like, yeah, what about your friend that stole something? That's uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, see, you got to distance myself from that.
Yeah. I don't even know him like that. We haven't even seen each other in years.
So this is going back to what I was saying about this agent and his agency. You have to ask his brother what's coming back, and you're supposed to have all the people. That's what you told him. You said, hey, we have people that looks into this stuff. We have people that does this.
Yeah.
And now I think Aaron was right about a later scene that we get to when he talked about his friends. When Aaron said, how do you know about Bo and or Mo?
Yeah.
And,
Mo and Curly. Yeah, the two guys.
Yeah, the two guys. But it has it looking like he used his brother to get information instead of using the people that they had to get it. Right. And that's if they had people. If they really had them.
Yeah, if they had the resources for that.
If they really had the resources.
Well, he also offers DJ or suggests, hey, they may have a coaching staff position for you down in a team in Europe. DJ's like, he kind of wants to be on the field, and he's like, hey, I don't think that's going to happen, but, you could potentially be a good junior coach or something. And I don't know. I know DJ, that's not necessarily his dream, but you know how many people would still love that, to be able to a coaching staff? And it's not maybe the NFL, but it's a European team. You're still getting that experience. The more you have, that's the more you can keep bringing back and going for a higher position.
Right. All that showed me is that the coach really didn't look. He was just trying to get more information out of him because he said, hey, I got this client that, no, dude, that's what you lead with if that's what you got.
Right.
But you don't have it. Yeah, you notice you have this client and you know he has a need. But you haven't mentioned me to your client yet.
Yeah, because it was after he talked about the mom. Yeah, the mom and the uncle.
And that was like, okay, I'm gonna keep you
engaged. I want to keep you happy.
Right. So I keep getting information.
Yep, trickling you a little bit here and there. I get you on the practice because at this time, DJ is now like kind of being practice quarterback, throwing the football to people.
And which, let me be fair to Brian Murphy. This is a real person. This stuff right here on the show can't be proven. So we can't speak on what type of individual he is in real life because we don't know if any of this happened.
Yeah.
The only thing we know for a fact is he was the agent.
Yes. And we just are speaking to the character that is, Yeah,
we're speaking to the character, but I wanted to put that out there because if I put out, we can't prove all this other stuff and then I'm going in on this guy.
And then talking bad about him. Yeah, exactly.
So I don't want to put out that
his
disclaimer on his character. We don't know his character.
Right. Well, Aaron pulls his back, so he has to go back and get stretched, this time with Chris again. And this time he does get a hard on. Chris goes, hey, there's nothing to be embarrassed. We need to do whatever we got to do to get you back on the field.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's just a natural reaction maybe that happens with their getting stretched, but I know there was like a football player that recently was in trouble because... Not the same thing. Not the same thing, but
like, the massage parlors.
Yeah, the massage thing. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, does it just naturally happen, or what is it? Like, even if they're in a professional setting and they know they're not in a sexual setting, could it happen?
Me personally, I've had massages. I'm in the chiropractors. It's never happened to me.
Okay.
But that's not to say that it can't happen.
Yeah.
Because he's a young kid.
Yeah.
I'm in my 40s. so that's not happening to me. You know what I'm saying? But as a young kid, getting stretched out, and if I had a thing for the therapist that was stretching me out or whatever, I don't know, because as a kid, I mean, your hormones are crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just a little touch get you going.
Right.
So that's something I say I can't speak on, because at that age, no, I wasn't getting massages, stretching stretches by someone that I was into. So if it's somebody that you're into, like apparently he was into this guy, then it's a possibility.
Yeah. Well, Aaron, he had saw Murphy and DJ talking earlier, so he's like, "Yo, don't be telling my business." And he's like, "Yo, I wasn't. He was just telling about this job opportunity." And he's like, "Well, how do he know about the friends?" He's like, "I don't know." Blah blah. But this is, you see more and more signs that not necessarily jealousy, but maybe envy, because DJ goes like, "Damn, like you have the opportunity, but your off the field shit is what's hurting you. Whereas I did everything right, but just didn't get this opportunity." And I wouldn't really call it jealousy, but it's more like envy. Like, damn.
Yeah, it's more envy.
Yeah.
That, I actually did everything right. And that happens in everyday life. That happens at work every day with people. Yeah. Like, man, I come here and I put in all this work. I do everything right.
And my production else promoted.
Or not just promoted. You see someone else who's not doing half the stuff you're doing. They're late all the time. They're this, and they keep getting opportunity over opportunity.
Right.
And then, and this is one thing that I hated about management, is that when we put something in motion, we have to put it in motion as it stay in motion. So we may put it in motion for this one person or two people that can't get it right. So now you put this in motion, and the person that's done everything right, just happened one day. Oh, I'm in traffic. Oh, I happen to be late, and now you can't go back on her. You can't really give them an out now, which really they probably they need one, or they deserve one. They deserve a second chance, or deserve like, hey, you've been doing everything right. This is a mistake. Go ahead. But now you can't, because you already set this in motion to deal with people that's not doing what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So now you have someone that's doing everything right, and now they're looking at you funny, like, hold up, this dude come in late every day, and they're still here. And you telling me that my first time, and now I'm on a written warning, or I got a point, or I got this, and that's just an example. But there's many other things that you may put in motion, and now you start hitting your best people with it.
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of implied earlier in the season when, first that weekend when they went away for Thanksgiving, and one person got in trouble, and the coach was like, damn it, I should have kept them all here. And it's like, well, why? Just because one person got in trouble? Or even when Cam Newton was kicked off the team earlier, he's like, damn, everyone did this, this, and this, and now I did some shit, and now you kicking me off? So. But,
hey, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Everything is not fair across the board. But that's what I said about management. You try to make everything fair. So if he was going to get rid of Cam, he should have got rid of Aaron. That's what I would have did personally. They keep everything, everything. But they got games to win.
All right, so Aaron goes to the combine to get evaluated by the different teams. They're going to be checking his run speed, his weightlifting. He's going to have to do, I believe, the Wonderlic test and everything like that. Now, while they're all in line, there is a potential player that goes, now I know why they call this shit a slave auction. And I think we sort of addressed it or talked about it on the other pod, and then we decided to take it out because we're like, you know what? It didn't feel appropriate at that time.
Yeah, we brought it up.
Maybe in the first or second episode. Yeah, so it didn't make it to the cut, but we had a whole conversation on it. And then we're like, you know what? Let's not even talk about it. But then since they brought it up now, Gary, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Because you had some thoughts on that time when we talked about it, but what are your thoughts when people do compare the NFL or even NBA to like a slave auction where they're, it does look weird. They're getting weighted, they're this, and they're talking about them not as people, but as commodities.
That's what they are. They are commodity. They're just numbers. They're the stats. So, I mean, they're talking about them, how rich people feel about them. Yeah. About this situation. How rich people probably feel about me and you.
Yeah.
We're numbers.
We're worker bees. That's why I sometimes call the public school system. They're doing just enough to make sure these worker bees know enough to be a worker bee to grow up.
But let's be real. This is like an auction. It is an auction, basically.
Yeah.
But it's I can't say slavery because you about to get millions at the end.
Yeah. And that's
or
what
at least
you said.
At least the minimum.
That's what you said when I had brought it up in that time. You were like, no, this is not slavery because slaves weren't getting paid for their labor. These athletes are first here by choice, different than slaves. They were not there by choice. And yes, they're getting criticized and judged based on their body and talked about like that, but they're about to go off and make millions of dollars. Some of them. You know how many little kids are right now, that's their goal, is to be an NFL player, NBA
that was my
player.
goal.
You know? Yeah. So.
And that's why I said, when we spoke about the first time and we took it out, I was saying that a lot of these people are here because they want to be here. Mm-hmm. Well, all of them here because they want to be here. But if you love football, you're going to do, or basketball, whatever sport you play, you're going to do whatever it takes to play. So if you had to go through this little humiliation.
Yeah, because I did feel like it was humiliating. You're standing up there and getting weighed in front of all these people. I'm not about to get weighed in front of nobody.
Yeah, weighed in your underwear because they got to see your, they got to see your physique, or they got to get the actual weight. Like they can't conduct. I'm sorry, not conduct, but deduct based on your clothes.
Yeah.
Like, just. Right now I'm in here. I got jeans and shirt on. Just take off 5 pounds.
Right.
Just deduct some weight because you're not going to get an accurate weight anyway.
And this Wonderlic test. So, Aaron, they said he has social maturity.
Right. But we go back to that.
Okay.
I want to stay right here for a second because a comment that Jerry Jones made on the Jamie Foxx thing. Did you see that?
No.
Jamie Foxx went live at the, I think it was the Cowboys practice facility.
Recently.
Okay. And Jerry Jones was sitting there with Jamie Foxx. He's already reading out the guy's stats. And then he said, and he got a 8.5-inch dick. and Jamie Foxx heard him and cut it off. Like you saw Jamie Foxx's face kind of, then he just cut off the line.
Did you say neck or dick?
Dick. He's hung. 8.5.
Okay. Gosh, that's basically a weird stat to give.
That's a weird stat to give. But now this goes back to when you're talking about slavery, when you're talking about stuff like that, because he talked about this player. I don't know which player he was speaking on, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't look at the whole clip. I skipped it, days because I thought it was just clickbait or whatever. Uh-huh. But I just happened to run into it on I think X. Ran into it on X and listened to just that part of it. And I was like, man, yeah, this is like they're breeding horses. Mm-hmm. Or just that is like you're buying a slave. Like, oh, okay, he's hung like a bull. He's gonna be a worker.
Yeah,
like that. So that's how Jerry Jones actually spoke about him. like it was a horse that he was wanting to buy.
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, even with them trading players, and sometimes you don't have any. You don't get a say. You're just traded or whatever.
Right.
And that happens in baseball and a lot of sports.
Yeah. But then again, Jerry Jones could have been joking. He could have been joking about it, and the joke happened to be caught on camera.
Yeah.
Because he could have been saying, yeah, he's this tall, and he got a bit, what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it could have been a joke like that. But, when you actually read numbers out, it just sound bad.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, he got a 9-inch. Like, hold on, did you measure it? Right. So is this a joke, or did you actually measure, or are you eyeballing? Because you are looking at these people like they're livestock. Yeah.
Now, there are people that still, I saw something on, when you said X, I was like, what the heck is X? I like to call it Twitter.
Twitter.
I saw something on Twitter not too long ago where I think a guy or athlete, I don't know if he was professional athlete or whatever.
We're going to call it X, because I know if I change my name, y'all better not ever call me Gary again.
I would say Twitter. They're trying to think X. I'm like, what is X? But anywho, he was pretty much saying that, like, yo, y'all need to pick your wives appropriately. Like, do you know, if you picking some 5'4" girl, your kids are not going to come out big and they're going to be small, and you want them to be able to go to D1 schools and stuff like that. And there was like a whole conversation about breeding with the quote unquote right person if you do want your child to be able to have a chance to be a professional athlete.
As nasty as that sounds, I never thought about it before, but I believe it.
Mm-hmm. All right, I want to get to that social maturity level 1 out of 10 from the Wonderlic test. It was asking basic ass questions though, like do you think people like you? Yes or no? Or have you ever had bad thoughts about yourself? Like, just, I don't know. You feel there's been those questions in different jobs in the past that ask these type of questions. They're annoying tests, but everyone knows what to answer. Like, if I ask you, it's okay to steal just a small amount from your job, and you go sometimes, never, or never ever. Like, the answer is never. Come on.
Yeah, that's the answer. Don't
put sometimes.
but you know what? This test, and you take this test at Walmart. Back in the days, I remember getting a job at Walmart as a teen. I don't want to say kid because some people listen to it like, oh, child labor. But as a teen, getting a job at Walmart or any place that you got a job at, you had to take one of these tests. And the thing is, while people think these are easy tests, because they are. But while people think that they're easy, they're not as simple as you think. Because like you said, they ask you a question, have you stole from your job? No, I never stole from my job. Then they ask you a question, like two questions down.
How many times have you stole from your job?
No,
they'll ask it a different way.
Well, no, they'll ask you, hey, have you ever took a pencil from your job? Oh, yeah, I took a pencil. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
You stole it.
I mean, you stole, yeah.
So there's ways to answer these questions, and they really have to be taught to you, or somebody have to talk about it. Because I remember one of my teachers telling me before that this is how the test is. He was like, hey, when you take these tests, they're going to ask you the question, but what you don't understand is they're asking you the question multiple times in different ways. Yeah. And it may not be how you think it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And that's why I gave you the example, have you stole? And then another question is, have you ever took a pencil or pen? And a lot of people feel like, man, if everybody took a pencil or pen, so
right.
if I put no, they're going to think. So now you're playing in your own head about it. And you might say, yes, I did, to be honest. You really have to be consistent in the way of answering it. I guess somebody of a certain maturity level, or people that just don't know that they're doing this to you and decide the test works, they're going to answer it the best way they know how. Like, nah, man, I never got a fight at work. Mm-hmm. They answer those questions. But this is what they really should have been working on. He should have explained that to them, that this is how it works. Because when they was at that table, they were going over the interview process. They were going over the training he needed to do. But you telling me you knew about this test because you told them about it. Hey, how do you test? But you didn't actually work on the test with them?
Yeah, do a practice. I'm pretty sure there was one online that you can easily find from past, like the SATs, but it's not like the SATs, but you can find a past test online and just, hey, do this. Let's see where you're at. Let's get get an indicator of where you land currently.
Where you land currently as far as mature, which these tests are bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. These tests right here is not going to affect, because half the people are lying on the test.
They are bullshit, but to me, if you got a 1 out of 10, that means you don't even have the social maturity level to lie enough to be able to pass the test.
Or you have the social maturity enough to be honest.
I guess that's one way of looking at it.
You're an honest person. If I'm looking at this test and I see that, oh, he said he did this, he did it, that means you told me everything. So to me, you're an honest person, but that's not how they look at it. They're looking at it like, oh, he don't have the maturity. Like you said, you don't have the maturity level to even lie on this test.
Yeah.
They need to look at it another way also. Maybe he has the maturity level where he's not a liar.
They're definitely not looking at it that way, because even later...
No, they're not looking at it that way.
Or I think it's later when he's getting the questions asked about him, like, have you ever had sex with a pig or fornicated with a pig? And they kind of have to explain, like, fornication, what that it means, and different things like that. It doesn't really matter what they ask you when you're, like, when the game is over and these reporters are asking you questions. Hey, it sounds like you don't get along with your team player. Oh, no, you know what? We just had a disagreement, but we're all team. We get along fine.
Yeah, media training.
Even if you do not fuck with that person, like, you got to be able to know what to say. And to me, they didn't prepare him. And you're right. Murphy did not prepare him in this case.
He didn't prepare him for the test. I think it's the team job to prepare him for media training.
Yes, yeah.
But, yeah, they didn't prepare him for it. In order for him to get a low score on this basic test, with people that they're working with you, knowing that you're going to have this test, they failed them.
Yeah. All right. So Aaron gets stretched out again by different PT this time, and we see in the background while he's getting stretched, like he's staring at Chris, but then Chris gets called to Murphy and a few other guys, and they talk for a moment, and then Murphy comes up and goes, "Hey, we're not going to have you run today." And Aaron's pissed. He's like, "No, they need to see me run. I'm here. They need to see me." And he's like, "No, if your back is not 100%. They don't need to see you. They have 3 years of tapes of you running. And I don't know. I kind of agreed with Murphy, but what are your thoughts on it?
I disagree with Murphy. And I disagree for this reason alone. You already see that he scored low at a social test, socially. Right. And you already know that a lot of these people are questioning his problems off the field. Give them something to look at. Let them know. Because one thing I think when somebody don't run, I don't always think that, hey, they're just taking it easy. The NFL's coming, they're good. Sometimes you think,
what's wrong?
There's something wrong. You think that, this person's hurt. Maybe it's a leg. Maybe it's this. So you question what's wrong at that point.
Right. You got to put your own story together. Yeah.
Right. So I wish they would have let him run, because maybe he would have went higher if they would have let him run. But like I said, it's about the agency. It's all about the agency you choose. And if there's any young men or parents listening to this podcast, please have representation with you. Someone who knows. Don't sit there and think that you know it all, because we don't.
Yeah, because he says they know you're talented, but it's your character they're questioning, and that was one of the stories I did see online that was in fact true. It was that Aaron Hernandez did sit out for the run at the Columbine.
Right, and there's speculation. You will see people speculating. If you look at the paper at that time, why did he sit out?
Right.
So, I think that did more damage to his already damaged persona or whatever.
Yeah. All right, so this is when we get those awkward questions asking about his race, color, what color is chocolate when it's melted. I don't even get what the psychology is behind this. Even though if you're sitting on a bus that's going 100 miles per hour, where would you be sitting? And he goes by maybe the exit doors. I don't know if they're trying to do the physics of a bus getting smashed. Maybe you want to sit in the back and hopefully the damage is not as bad if it crashed. I don't even know. I'm like, what the hell are we asking? What are you asking me? These are like those questions that's like, would you rather be a cat or a dog, or what animal would you be, and stuff like that.
Like, where were you sitting if the bus going 100 miles per hour?
Yeah,
like, let's say place I'd be sitting. What if a car's going 100 miles per hour?
Yeah.
Like, where I'm gonna sit then? And how would you know if the bus is about to go 100 miles per hour?
Yeah.
When you get on it. So these are ridiculous questions, but they have their reasons.
Yeah.
But looking at who acted, I'm not gonna get on the team. Never mind. I was trying to kind of look at some of the teams that were asking these questions. The weird was, I was like, okay, it explains a lot.
Yeah. Now, Aaron zones out at this time, and he sees his dad in his chair, and his dad, because he's like, I just want to honor my dad, and dad's like, honor me, like, you can call him gay slurs. And one thing I just sort of thought about Ryan Murphy, I'm like, is he pushing all this, like, whatever hate and any, hate crimes that's been against him on him? Because I'm like, why is the dad so homophobic? And did we know that the dad was this homophobic? And because every time the dad talks, he's just homophobic and for no reason around straight kids. Or kids that you're assuming is straight. But I don't know if this was something that was proven or discussed before, or if they just assuming that his father was like that.
I believe his father was homophobic. I don't know to the extent, like, was he hitting his kids for standing in certain ways or doing this? Because I remember how it was back in those days. I remember how the men were. I remember how my father and stepfather was back in those days. So this is believable. Like, hey, man, get your hand off your hips like that.
Yeah.
Like, don't stand like that. Don't do this like that. Don't do, So it was like a very homophobic society back then.
That's true.
And we discussed before, his father did go to prison, so maybe his father seen some things. But you know what? Even his father didn't go to prison. It was just a homophobic society.
Yeah. In some cases, people would say it still is.
Oh yeah, it definitely still is. But it's not spoken these days how it was back then. Like,
it's frowned upon to speak that way.
Back then, I mean, you were public with it. You were saying stuff like, now I don't even want to give this story because my stepfather passed away, so I don't want to, kind of damage his legacy in any way or whatever. But he did say something out loud while we was at a store one time, and I said I wasn't, but I'm going to. So he said something inappropriate as a guy walked past us that was homosexual, or at least he appeared to be. And I was a kid, and my father said, "Oh, this, blah blah blah, right here." But he said it loud enough for the guy to hear. And me thinking about it now and thinking back to it, I don't know if I felt any type of way about him saying it at that point, and that lets me know how normal that was back then. Because I was a kid, and I don't remember at that point thinking, oh, I said that's so embarrassing. Like, oh, this is straight embarrassing what he's saying. Or I don't recall feeling any type of way toward him saying it. But if he was to say it now, to me, that'd be disgusting.
Yeah.
Or when he said it then, it was disgusting. Let me just clear that up. When he said it then, it was disgusting. But I'm just trying to make a point of how this world was in like the 80s, 90s. And, some people say the early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, we see Aaron. He's smoking in his room. His PT comes to see him. He's freaking out. He's like, it's okay, dude. We work together. Just, And he's like, I hope you're not mad. I only told them the truth. And he's like, I understand. You're under a lot of pressure. Like, I couldn't do it. And, he talks about, like, hey, you probably shouldn't be smoking either right now. But eventually, they hook up. We see them hook up.
Yep. One thing about Aaron, and I actually like this scene and how the director depicted it, because it is showing his maturity level. Like, man, I messed up. Instead of I messed up, let me sit here and soak and whatever, I'm just going to mess up some more.
Yeah. Every time he messes up and starts feeling sorry for something, he goes smoke weed or something. I'm like, I'm just going to fuck it up even more now.
Like, it doesn't even matter no more.
Yeah.
But I remember having that mindset.
Yeah.
As a young adult or as a kid, like, man, fuck it, this ain't gonna happen anyway, so let me go ahead.
Right.
So I actually like them putting this part in, because it is speaking on this mindset.
Yeah. And he also mentioned in this scene, like right before Chris kisses him, he goes like, he mentioned something about either being ashamed of what he says, not like who he is, but what he is. And it kind of goes back to that first episode when the dad goes, when Tanya's like, he's a good kid, and dad goes, I don't know what he is. And it's that underlying theme that's been throughout the season is it's not about necessarily his character. It just really goes back to, once again, his sexuality and how he couldn't be, I don't know if they're saying since he couldn't feel he could be himself, this is what's caused all the other stuff to manifest. It could have definitely played a part if you're hiding a true part of yourself, but I don't want them to say like, the reason why he ended up doing all these things is because he couldn't freely be gay,
Right. I don't want them to blame that specifically on that.
Yes.
Because he did these things.
Yeah.
Not because of it.
Although the CTE portion, I do feel is a valid stopper. Like, yo, he might have did this because he had CTE. Like, what if you don't know what you're doing when you have CTE? What if you have no clue?
I don't believe that, neither.
I mean, we'll know more. It's going to take a while for us to know more.
I believe that, Aaron had CTE, and it was severe. He had, reports came out that his brain was severely damaged. Mm-hmm. And I do believe that Aaron was homosexual. And the only reason I believe it is because it's just too now, even though when you look it up on, things on the show, it can't be proven.
Right.
But it's just too much smoke not to be fired somewhere.
Right. Too many instances.
Too many incidents. So I do believe that, he was struggling with internal things. But I believe that they just let Aaron get away with so much that he didn't even see a problem with it.
Right.
He did. When you saw the agent sitting in his house and start talking about his trouble, he's kind of looking like what trouble?
Right.
So I think that Aaron just got away with so much because he was a extraordinary player, and he got the laws and rules blurred because the rules that applied to everyone else that was basically on the campus with him or in high school with him, they didn't really apply to him. Mm-hmm. And another thing that showed me that Aaron could get away with anything and everything is because we have to realize that this dude was a college graduate. He didn't come back the next year. He was finished with his, 4 years or whatever?
He didn't finish.
Oh, he didn't finish?
Yeah, he only did 3 years. Remember, that's why the coach said, I don't have a spot for you next year.
Okay, I thought he said he didn't have a spot for him because he already ran through and did it. So he just left early. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's scratch that. But still, being in college for 3 years and you could barely read and write,
right?
That's an issue.
So we get to draft day, round 1. Aaron says the fact that he's home right now and not at the draft, he knows he's not going to get picked round 1, and
right,
and he doesn't.
And believe me, they know.
Mm-hmm.
They know. The agents already spoke to him. Like the guys that's there, the team probably already spoke to him and said, "I'm taking you." The agent probably said, "Oh, I spoke to so and so. They're taking you." So the people that's there, they're there because they already know that they're going to get drafted.
Yeah. And he was kind of embarrassed that his mom threw this party. And I'm like, did she not ask for his permission? Because he's like, why'd she do this? Like, but I understand she's excited, but maybe she should have said, like, hey, are you cool if I throw this draft party?
I think he was embarrassed because he was a part of the draft. Because growing up, we threw draft parties to watch the draft.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was just a common thing to do.
Yeah, he was embarrassed because his name should be getting called or will be getting called potentially. Well, his agent Murphy calls him and tells him, hey, I'm hearing round 3. And Aaron's like, at this point, I'll take it. And that's when him and his brother are in the store. And he runs into his ex-high school sweetheart, Shania, who we know they do end up together. And they have a little chat. And she's kind of flirting with him. But they end things there. It was just like a cute little, I haven't seen you in a few years.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah.
It's more like, I've been keeping my eye on you, and I will continue to keep my eye on you.
Yeah.
And you know where I'm at.
Yep, because she's like, you'll be there, and I'll be here, and you'll be a big player. So.
And I'll be cheering for you.
Yep. So we get to I think round 3. He still wasn't drafted. He ignores Murph's call, and then that's when he gets pissed off at his DJ. He's like, I should have never listened to you, and I should have never got with this guy. You pushed him down on me. And they go outside, and that's when they kind of start having an argument. And DJ's like, this should have been me. Like, he finally, like, all the animosity and envy has kind of come crashing down. He's like, this should have been me. Like, you've been fucked up. You've had chance after chance. I did everything right. And he's like, I protected you. I was there for you. And that's when Aaron pushes him down and goes, like, you protect me? You were supposed to be my big brother. And this was so sad because, like, you could tell there's some history in what he's saying. Like, you were supposed to be my big brother and you should have protected me. And obviously they too know what this is about. And and then based on how the episode started, it's implying that it's about maybe Uncle Bobby or some other person sexually assaulting him.
Yeah, I'm going to break this up, but I took that a different way. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to break it up, starting with his brother saying what he said. His brother had every right to say what he said. When you fuss at me saying, hey, you the one who put me in this position, you introduced me to this guy, you said take it. Yeah, I'm looking out for you. But now you're fussing at me because you didn't do what you're supposed to do? Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you what I did. Right. I did everything I was supposed to do. I didn't get in trouble like you did. And look, I'm sitting here right now still cleaning up your mess.
Right.
So when Aaron pushed him down, he said he's done protecting him, and Aaron pushed him down. Maybe they were supposed to be getting that, hey, what happened with the uncle or whatever. But I took it as, you're my big brother. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. You're my big brother. You're supposed to be doing this. And although I don't agree, but you see how I am with my younger siblings, I do. I do for them. And I am there for them. But I don't believe that you're supposed to be, or you have to be, or you should have been, or whatever. Your parents should have did that. Okay. Mom and dad should have did everything you're telling me that I should have been doing or there for. But like I said, I do for my younger siblings. So I kind of feel what Aaron's saying on that part. I think a lot of people get it twisted. I'm not supposed to. I'm just doing.
Yeah. And I think with them saying, like, hey, when he was like, you say that ever again to me, I'll kill you. I'm like, once again, I don't know. People say I'll kill you all the time. They don't literally mean it. But I think they were trying to show us, like, he meant that shit.
But a killer saying it.
Yeah. He meant that. That's not funny. I'm not laughing at any deaths or anything like that. Yeah. All right, final scene. Patriots are discussing. We see them discussing, who the next round pick is going to be, and they're like, what about that kid from Florida, and talking about him, and they're like, well, he got in trouble, and they're like, they kind of just talk it out, and like, yeah, but look, he's the most talented player here on the draft. They're like, but all the police know him in Florida, and they're like, yo, we can get him. Moss was a bad player. He was still able to help us. And there's pretty much zero.
Not bad player.
Oh, not bad player. Excuse me. He had some bad off-field stuff.
Right.
And they're like, there's no downside. We can get him for cheap, and if he doesn't work out, just cut him.
There's never a downside. There may be. No, there's not a downside. Getting somebody at a discount like Aaron, there was no downside. And like I said before, maybe if Aaron had a different agency with he would have been taken sooner, earlier. Yeah. Because there was no downside to getting Aaron. Somebody that has the skills to help you get to a championship.
Yep.
Yeah, there's gonna be maybe a little more trouble off the field or whatever. But yeah, the NFL sweep it under the rug also.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Well, all sports, NFL,
yeah, all
NBA, all of them.
Well, DJ hears the draft on the TV, hears Aaron's name, and I just love like the brotherly love, and even though they fight, they argue, whatever, he's so excited. He calls his mom, tells his mom, and then he runs out because Aaron's obviously not home, so he's about to get in his car. But at the same time, Aaron, wherever he was, he must have been at Tanya's.
Yeah.
He's running down the street, so seeing them, like, I have chills. Seeing them, like, connect and hug and just embrace. And then not only that he got drafted for what they consider their local team,
their home team.
So they're like,
his favorite team.
You're gonna be home. Like, you're gonna be playing an hour away. It's gonna be amazing. This is awesome. So the next episode, I'm guessing we will see him on the Patriots, and I don't know when Tom Brady comes along, if he's already there or what. But that's gonna be interesting to see who they have like paid Tom Brady.
I think Brady's already there,
and some of the other big names.
Yeah, Tom Brady's definitely there.
Definitely there. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be fun, like seeing these names, and I wonder if any other real life players, like if they're nervous about like what they're gonna show, like hope they'll show me with them, because I saw the Tom Brady roast, and which was so inappropriate, like they were making like little Aaron Hernandez jokes. So I don't know if him and Aaron Hernandez was close, or if just that they played on the same team, they made some joke references there, but. I am interested to see what they show his relationship like to these professional players now that he's made it to a professional team.
Right.
But that is all we got. Another great episode. It's a little too entertainment-y for me. In some points, I mean, I'd rather just know for sure what happened. Like, but I guess not everything you're gonna know for sure. But
I think the only reason we feel that way is because this is a real situation.
Yeah.
And when it comes to real situations, everybody does their research. Everybody say, "Oh, I didn't know that happened. Let me look it up. Let me see when this happened." And you realize, "Oh no, that didn't happen."
Yeah.
So I think it's more disappointing to know that some of these big things that they're saying happened can't really be proven. Mm-hmm. But we have to remember that this is just entertainment. This is content over everything.
Content over everything, yeah. I always say, like, if something ever happened to me, do not let them make a true crime about my life, like, about my story, like, so people are watching it on TV as entertainment.
And that's a reason that you should never sell your story. And a lot of people don't know, when they do these interviews with magazines and all the stuff that's out there, like these entertainers, like People's Magazine or anything, everything that you sell in that magazine, they don't have to come to you no more.
Right.
They can go straight to people and pay them for that and say, "Hey, I want to use all this for this movie I'm making." Mm-hmm. And they can use it. So that happened to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, I think Hulu did it, or whoever did that Mike Tyson story. But they said, "Hold up, they didn't pay me for this story. They don't know, they stole the story from me."
Yeah.
But actually they didn't. Mike Tyson, you sold that story to HBO or whatever when you did your one-man show. And when you gave your rights to HBO, all they had to do was go to HBO and get the rights for that one-man show and make a little mini-series off of it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know whether it has to be something in the contracts or something when they do these interviews or they do these shows for these networks or whatever, that protects them for another network coming along doing the show also. Mm-hmm. But something has to be done. Because obviously Mike Tyson, he feels like they robbed them, they did this, which they kind of did.
Yeah.
If you think about it, they robbed him because he didn't get paid for it. They didn't speak to him about it, but legally they didn't.
That's unfortunate. All right, well, we will be back next week. Sorry we came out so late this week. Once again, if you want to be part of the pod, hit us up, host@theverdictsend.com. That's HOST@theverdictsend.com. Don't also forget, I am covering the show From. It's an MGM Plus show you can watch on Amazon Prime.
Great show.
Great show. It's sort of horror, mystery, thriller. There's been, I think, 2 episodes so far, and it comes out on Sunday. So you can catch it on my Small Screen Sagas podcast there. Until then, I'm Nicole.
I'm Gary.
Bye.